The most predictable thing in basketball is TNT being hilarious. I mean, they had Jordan Poole getting punched off the gun fishing boat. That's awesome. But also, the Sixers losing in the playoffs happens every year. Joel Embiid just won MVP, but has never gotten past the second round. What happens if they re-sign James Harden to a max contract? Is that something he wants to be part of? Well, we are now hearing whispers about a trade demand, but how real is that? Is it possible for him to win in Philly? They were up by 2 with under 6 minutes to go at home in Game 6, about to eliminate the Celtics. Then for some reason, Joel was taken out of the offense. Over and over, the Sixers bricked threes with Embiid not even touching the ball. I mean, you had James Harden trying to do everything himself. They have the MVP. Boston won the game, but things were close at half in Game 7. Then in the third quarter, Embiid got frozen out again. They collapsed, going 3 for 21. That is a James Harden Doc Rivers special. But the crazy thing is there was a game in late February with the exact same matchup, but Embiid took over. He scored 14 points in the final 6 minutes. Why not use the MVP like that? So they fired Doc Rivers. Joel Embiid was not happy. GM Daryl Morey said he was very close with Coach Rivers, and yeah, Joel was shocked. But Bill Simmons went on his podcast and floated Embiid to the Knicks. He even gave Embiid leaving a 50% chance. And the Knicks make sense. They're improving and have a ton of assets to trade. If Jalen Brunson was the only untouchable, they could deal Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, 6 first-round picks or more. But Bill Simmons throws out crazy things. But you know who doesn't? Zach Lowe. He stays away from hot takes, but even he said, as for Joel, he loves Philly, Philly loves him, but if James Harden leaves, you're relying on Maxey to take a giant leap. Translation, he could demand a trade, but guess what? But you know, when I worked at Starbucks, I used to overdraft all the time. Not if I had Chime, because if you've got your first job, you can jumpstart a healthy financial journey, unlike me. Just sign up for Chime, link a qualifying direct deposit, and you get access to benefits like getting paid up to 2 days early, a fee-free overdraft up to $200. With Chime, there are no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and no deposit required to become a member. So sign up for a Chime checking account today, link your paycheck. It only takes 2 minutes and does not affect your credit score. Get started today at chime.com/amhoops. That is chime.com/amhoops. I'm supposed to read this next part legally. Let's see if I can do it in one try without any mistakes. Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Early access to direct deposit funds depends on payer. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. See chime.com/spotme. None of that is real. Embiid has given zero indication that he wants out. The way things are in this NBA era, as soon as things start to go south around a superstar, the narrative goes immediately to trade demand, even if there's no reason for it. The media looks into quotes, they start asking anonymous sources. This Embiid thing is fake, but the James Harden rumors are real. We are learning more about what he's gonna do. But while watching him fail again in a big moment, I was thinking, who in their right mind wants this guy? I mean, he's gonna get a huge contract. Do you care about winning a championship? I know he had 2 40-point games against the Celtics, but in Game 7, he went 3 for 11 with 9 points. Does that sound familiar? It's actually crazy how this happens every year. How is this the same guy from the regular season? In games 2, 3, 6, and 7, Harden went a combined 12 for 55. That is shooting 20% from the field. But the Rockets still want him. And you might think, hey, that's a good thing. Rockets, go ahead and have him. The Sixers could replace Harden with another star. No, they can't. If Harden leaves, Philly still has no cap space, but they do have one other option. Harden just opted out of his deal to become a free agent. Bleacher Report says that Harden wants a 4-year contract. The Houston Rockets have long been a rumored destination, but sources say Harden will only entertain suitors that present a competitive roster and the basketball freedom for the star to be himself. Do you know what that means? If the Rockets are serious, they're about to completely reshape their roster. I mean, hey, they just got the number 4 pick. That's gonna get traded. They already have baby Jokic, Alperen Şengün. He's gone. Potential future star Jalen Green could be yours. But who will they get for all of this? Well, Jaylen Brown getting All-NBA makes it a little more complicated. He might now stay in Boston for the Supermax, but we don't know that for sure. Now, there are other trades and free agents that the Rockets could explore, but this could all just be leverage to re-sign in Philly. I mean, Harden wants close to a max contract. How do I know that? Because when he was asked about taking another pay cut like he did last year, Harden said, "We're losing in the second round anyway. It's no different than last season," which means why would I take a pay cut? I already did that this year and we lost in the second round again. It would be dumb. Give me all the money. But the only way to get all the money is if Philly is scared of losing him to the Rockets. But let's say that does happen. They have no cap space. Like I said, they can't just replace James Harden's salary. But what they would get is the $12.2 million mid-level exception. That is like a gift card that they can spend on one player. $12 million. For that money, they could sign a player like Dillon Brooks, Harrison Barnes, Malik Beasley, Will Barton, Kelly Oubre, Taylor Horton-Tucker, Seth Curry again, Lonnie Walker, or Dante DiVincenzo. Now look at this list. If you are Philly, do you want one of these guys over James Harden? Because that's what they're dealing with. But if they bring Harden back, there is actually one other way to improve around him and Embiid. Tobias Harris is finally an expiring contract. He's been on a max contract forever. Horrible decision to choose Tobias over Jimmy Butler at the time, but it's finally the last year. That means other teams will want to trade for him. They could combine Toby with Tyrese Maxey and get real aggressive. With that, they could potentially get a third star player. Now, an expiring contract means that Toby has 1 year left on his huge deal. If another team swaps a multi-year contract for Toby's 1 year, they get out of that bad long deal. Examples of this would be Tobias for Jordan Poole, Terry Rozier, Lonzo Ball, Davis Bertans, Duncan Robinson, Tim Hardaway, or Landry Shamet. All of those players' team would love to get off their contract. Trading for Tobias would do that, but is it worth it for Philly? No. The only way to make it worth it is to combine Tobias Harris with Tyrese Maxey and picks. Maxey could be a future all-star for someone. He was the 5th best three-point shooter last year. 43% on over 6 attempts per game, elite. But he's a 6'2" guard. Him and James Harden in the backcourt is horrible defense. And he's eligible for a 5-year, $200 million max deal. Philly could avoid paying him with a trade. What if they offered Tobias, Tyrese, the 2029 first, and 3 seconds for Damian Lillard? It's the best offer Philly can give. Is that enough to get Dame? He is a proven playoff winner whose value is diminished with his gigantic contract. And maybe Portland rebuilds after getting that number 3 pick. I mean, what if the draft goes Wembanyama, Brandon Miller, and Scoot Henderson? Maybe it's the perfect time to move off of the Dame at point guard era for Scoot. Then obviously Philly would look to sign and trade Harden somewhere. I think the only team that makes sense is the Timberwolves for Mike Conley and Kyle Anderson. That's Embiid, Dame, and 2 solid role players for the Beard. Now the only star outside of Dame might be like a Pascal Siakam, but something crazy is about to go down in Philly because of James Harden. Joel Embiid is going nowhere, but speaking of the draft, the Spurs have a crazy plan for Victor Wembanyama. I lay it all out right here.